So if we move on and our consciousness can reach higher, we will experience love, and we will experience the sacredness of life at the same time. Then we will use that element of things being sacred,
Right.
and all those beautiful, noble concepts
Right.
that are in this world. We'll use that in order to dwell in the next dimension of the fifth dimension of exchange of energy,
Right.
of sound, exchange of energy, of healing,
Right.
of connection with everything. This is the connection with all the beings that can possibly be.
Right.
This doesn't have time either.
Right.
Neither the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension or the sixth or seventh
Right.
have time. It's the only third dimension that have time, and actually we may think that these two also do, but it's just the perspective of the third
Right.
dimension, from the third chakra, that makes us see things as happen in
Right.
time.
Yeah.
But so far it hasn't been really completely assigned to the fifth dimension. All
Right.
those phenomena, like Akashic records, for
Yes.
example, of knowing past and present and future.
Yeah.
But this is where it's happening, in the fifth dimension. So
Right.
some of us have access to it, others don't, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you can't develop it.
Exactly.
We can develop the fifth chakra, we can develop the fourth chakra, we can develop the sixth chakra, which is vision and intuition. So vision and intuition is very important, because we do have those maybe visions, maybe dreams, maybe colors
Right.
that signify something, and we don't always know what it is about.
Right.
Well, if we study more that dimension, there are psychic sciences in there, concepts, archetypes, psychic sciences like astrology, numerology,
Yeah.
sacred geometry.
Yeah.
All studies of archetypes are in there. Any type of divination, I Ching is there,
Right.
tarot cards, and also we have that dimension has many layers.
Right.
We have religions,
Right.
gods, goddesses, all deities are in that world, and that dimension, coming through intuitive tool that we have of the third eye, it gives certainty. It gives certain certainty.
Okay.
So if we are kind of stuck in there, then things seem to be absolutely certain, and
Okay.
we use this chakra
Yeah.
to settle our beliefs.
Oh.
So we
okay.
believe
Yeah.
in things, in religions.
Right. Yeah.
Especially if everyone else in our family believes in that,
Yeah.
and we're born into that, so we believe in that.
Yeah.
So religions are coming from definitely that high dimension
Right.
of incredible creativity. This is the creativity that comes from sound, dance, performance, music. This is the creativity that comes from investigating the vision, investigating what we see. It has all that's created, that we create with that perception. So our individual consciousness can investigate that world, explore that world, and use it for our benefit.
Right.
If we know how to cultivate and
Right.
how to develop that chakra, if we know how to use it, because If it's just one chakra opening without Kundalini moving, then
Right.
if you can easily see it. It's just a perception opening, but our consciousness is not really completely comprehending it.
Right, yeah.
It's
So
just
like
boom.
what you were saying about the first chakra kind of like muddying up your perception from the sixth dimension. So like that's how dogma could develop, you know?
Exactly.
So it's like you have this, religious experience, but if you mix it up with like your survival instinct, then it becomes rigid, and that could become an obstacle to the Kundalini actually moving.
Right, exactly. We get stuck in religions, in religious fanaticism comes from here, because vision comes with intuitive understanding of it, and it's certainty.
Right.
So we feel it as certainty. It's not easy to convince someone of one religion to switch to another religion, right? It's not. It's not something that happens a lot. So the whole point of what I'm saying is that the Kundalini needs to move all the way through.
Right.
It has to move through the sixth chakra
Yes.
and reach the seventh and make the seventh pop open.
Okay.
And that's something that we are not taught.
Yes.
And we're not taught how to differentiate between the energies of the chakras.
Yeah.
And so we need to have that information. I teach that. And also, every chakra needs different practice.
Right.
So we're not going to practice in the same way on the emotional chakra as we're going to be practicing on the fifth chakra.
Right.
And the seventh one is very important, kind of like the third one, being locked up in our minds, which is what our humanity kind of is at this time.
Right.
We have we have religions kind of active, but as we already discussed, that's the sixth chakra kind of trapped again in here, in the dogmas, in the systems, in the mental systems, in certain systems that we just have to believe in, because otherwise they don't make any sense anyway, right?
Exactly.
So belief is the thing that's going to get us through, but belief is a combination of the second and then third chakra. So it's not so high up as we could be if we are just using our own way of reaching with our own sense of spiritual identity, as we all are. Each of us is an individual unit of consciousness. So the higher we get, the more truth we understand, but it has to be all connected. It cannot be just one chakra opening.
Exactly.
So once we get here, it's kind of the same obstacle. It's easier to kind of believe in what everybody else is saying, and believe in the logic and linear thinking and create our lives accordingly to that.
Right.
But it's not something that our consciousness really wants.
Right.
Our consciousness wants to unite with the source,
Exactly.
with all there is. We want to be more than just surviving.
Yes.
So this needs to open, and for this to open, we have to use different practices. For the third chakra, we use the practices that focus the mind and surrender it. Because if we surrender the mind, then if we really surrender it, then our consciousness can move on. And in order to have the seventh chakra open, we have to practice the qualities of that higher mind.
Right.
That mind is not goal-oriented.
Yes.
That mind does not identify, like the third chakra is the mind that identifies. The seventh chakra is the mind that discerns, observes. It has no goal besides just being and
Right.
observing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the practice, that's a philosophical thinking.
Mhm.
It's the practice that we are not taught because it's
Right.
not practical,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's so important for everyone to understand
Mm-hmm.
that we have those two minds.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they're not contradicting one another, and the dimensions are not contradicting one another, but we are this whole being
Yes.
that has different perceptions.
Right.